Chris here, back with the Xiaomi Mi 365 scooter. So I've been using this most days. I just park up close to town and ride into the office, the studio here with this thing. And it's been going really well. I've got now about 85 kilometers, I think it is, on the clock so far with mileage. So not a lot. So I just wanted to cover a few things. You could say, top 5 tips as an owner of what I think you should do to get the most out of the Mi scooter here. So let's take a look. So my first recommendation for a new Mi scooter owner is to get the app, of course. This is the 9bot app that you can find on Google Play Store. Go along in here and find the vehicle settings, which is just under the setting menu. Go to accelerator mode. Now it's actually the deacceleration. Now, thanks to a couple of comments in my review, people pointed out that there is in fact a problem that I wasn't aware of affecting some older models, that if you had 100% battery and you did some braking and it was generating power, it would cause a current overload there and it would blow a fuse or the controller box. Now, to help avoid this, set this to weak. Now, I think by default it is weak. I also found that strong was braking far too strong. I would never use that anyway, but I did for some time have it set on medium, but now I'm using weak because I don't want any problems. Last thing I want is this to not charge because of this issue. Now my second tip here involves the tires. They're quite susceptible because they're air-filled. While they offer some comfort because they absorb those little bumps and things, they are prone to getting punctures, of course, just like any bike tire. And I found out on the second day of owning this, I got a thorn right about here that went through that thinner part of the rubber and gave me pretty much an instant flat tire. I was really annoyed, and I checked out on Google and YouTube here that changing these tires is quite a mission. You've got to pull this reflective sticker off the side, you've got to unbolt this. It's not so easy to do. So all I did is put this product in here called Slime. Now this fixed the puncture I had. I put about a quarter of this little small bottle in each tire, that much. Fixed the puncture, but not only that, it should prevent further flats, because I've used this product a lot in my mountain bike. I mountain bike a lot, and I do swear by it, because I feel that with this stuff in my tires, that it's just avoided so many pinch flats and punctures and problems like that. Because the last thing you want to do is be 12 kilometers away, get a flat on this, and then you have to push it for 12 kilometers, which is not fun. And my third tip is also based on the tires as well, but this time tire pressure. So what I've found out is, of course, a very high tire pressure will give you better speed, acceleration, because you have less rolling resistance. But I noticed that it makes the ride a little too uncomfortable, because those tires there will absorb some of those little cracks. And here in Spain, some of the roads are really quite rough. So going over real rough bits, bouncing around everywhere, I've noticed that the initial tire pressures that I put in there made them really quite hard. About 3 bar of pressure in there was too much. So lower that down, I would say, to about 2.5. And it's personal preference as well. Just find a level where you can get some comfort that it's going to absorb some of those bumps and things that you often get, of course, on the road. And the fourth tip is just a little bit of maintenance here, just to make sure after about a week of use, go along and check all these bolts and everything. Just nip things up, make sure they're all nice and tight. We've got a couple around here on the handlebars when you fold that up, just to check and make sure they're all nice and tight right here, because they tend to loosen off. This same goes for a brand new road bike or mountain bike, that things are going to vibrate, loosen off a little bit. So just maintenance, routine maintenance, check that things are tight on there. Otherwise, later on you could run into problems, and that should help avoid them. And my fifth and final tip here is to conserve your battery. If you're going somewhere that you know is about 18 or 16 kilometers away, and you're bringing the charger with you, but you want to make sure you're actually going to arrive there, then make sure you check the app, have a look at your remaining battery percent. Even though these, of course, lights up here give you a quick idea of how much you've got. Okay, 2 bars there, you've got about 50%. At the moment, you can see I've got 100. And use that eco mode where you can on the flat. So double tap, green light comes on. Eco mode will save a lot of battery, especially when it comes to acceleration, because the acceleration is going to be a lot slower. It conserves battery life a little bit better. And I've been able to get close to 20 kilometers on the flat using the eco mode. And in the normal mode, I would only probably get around 13 to 14 maximum on the flat. So there's a huge difference there. So there we go. Overall, really good scooter. I think the most important thing there is to focus on the wheels, that you don't get any punctures. That's why I highly recommend to put slime in there or another similar additive that you can put inside the inner tubes to make sure that if you do get something that punches them, that it would seal them up so you don't get a flat, you don't get stranded anywhere. Because when I got my flat, you could not use it, and if you did decide to ride on it, you would end up damaging the inner tube even further and have to replace it. And getting these wheels off, as I've seen on other videos online, is going to be a real hassle. The second most important would be to make sure you just put that regenerative charging on light, as you don't want to run into problems which other owners have, which I discovered later on after I first reviewed my one there. So best of luck with your scooting there on the Mi scooter. Thanks a lot for watching this video.